Hi everyone, thank you. Welcome back for returning subscribers, and yes, welcome for new subscribers too. Couple of things first. If you have noticed, my channel is undergoing channel changes. Yeah, that's better. Undergoing channel changes. I will give you updates in a short while, but I wanted to give you a little Christmas reading. This is going to be a pick a card reading, a little something different from what I usually do, but that's the direction I keep being guided to go in. So the next thing is I gave my dogs some squeaky toys that my mom got for Christmas. So if you hear it in the background, sorry. It's just the joy of these holiday times. The other thing is I am using the deck Loving Words from Jesus by Doreen Virtue. He can be kind of a loaded figure, but just want everyone to know not to Grinch up the comment section with whatever side of the aisle you're on. If you don't believe that Jesus was the Messiah, if you're an atheist, if you're a hardcore fundamentalist Bible thumper, just let's keep it friendly and cheerful and loving, because these are loving words from Christ, and Jesus is just all right with me. I love the dude. Also, like, share, comment, and subscribe. So let's take a minute to focus in on which pile we want. We have pile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I will give you a minute to choose which one is for you. Squeak! Okay, and now let's start with pile number 1. Whoops, a 3 is popping out. Okay, for pile number 1, did I say in the intro that the Morgan-GREER Tarot and a 10 contest is still available? All you have to do is be subscribed and put hashtag Morgan-GREER in the comment section, and you can be entered for a chance to win this beautiful deck. So our loving words from Jesus, we have: whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. Matthew 12:50. So we have two figures right here. We have Jesus, and I don't know who he's with in this scripture, but he's with a guy. I guess it's kind of like I'm feeling like brotherly love, like brotherly type of love. So if you are someone who has a brother, this might apply to you. It also says sister and mother, so this is a time about family and father, right? So this is all about, like, if you spread the good news, right? If you can you guys see that? If you spread the good news, oh, it's because of the light. If you spread the good news, if you do your best to be the best person you are every day. You know, we all mess up. We're all sinners. We all fall short. But if you do the best that you can do, then God sees that, and it will spread its blessings among all of your family. You know, I don't really subscribe to the entire ideology of what we know Christianity to be, but I do have family members, my uncle and my cousin and my that side of the family, they're Southern Baptist preachers, and even though I don't agree with everything they think of Christ or God, I'm still really thankful to have them in my life, because I do feel like they're so devout and they have so much faith in God, like not in an awful way, but in a really healthy, loving way, that those blessings have spread to me, like that protection has spread to me. So this is kind of saying to me that your faith is bigger than just you. Your faith is bigger than just your small little world, right? It's like your faith is bigger than just like wanting a new job or wanting a soulmate or something like that, right? Your faith also spreads and seeps onto your loved ones and those around you, those close with you. So it's a bigger web than that, right? We have goblins here. So goblins are, this is a card about something that happened in the past that sort of, like, at the time, it was a rejection. It was painful. But it was, and so you developed these thought patterns that were kind of antagonistic, right? Like, let's say a boy rejected you in kindergarten, and so you have carried around that rejection, and that little goblin tells you something like, you know, that boy rejected you, so no boy is ever gonna love you, or whatever. That's still not better. Let me, yeah. So it protected you at the time, right? It protected you from not jumping into, not being boy crazy, right? Because you just assumed that everyone would reject you. But now is the time to sort of conquer those demons, right? To rise above those demons and to those little goblins, right? Those little, like, annoying, antagonistic thought patterns that you have that, like, worked years ago, but you've outgrown them. They're not working now. We also have, these are cute little, wish you could see, this isn't the best lighting. This is the Four of Swords. This is a card about rest. Our Christmas break is all about rest, but it says, much joy be yours at Christmas time. And it just has a woman, she has a muff. So you could live in a very cold part of the world. Four of Swords is about rest. What else do we have? The Ace of Swords is about truth. And in this one, it's cute because we have a little girl who's whispering to her brother, a joyful Christmas to you. But it's like, because the Ace of Swords is a card about truth, it's kind of like finding out a truth, right? So you might find out something through gossip. There might be some family gossip that was like a goblin before, right? So something might have happened in your family years ago, like in childhood with your brother and sister. Maybe, you know, brothers and sisters antagonize each other. So maybe your brother or sister was like picking on you, and it sort of dinged your self-esteem, right? And so you've carried that with you as you grew up, but it's like something that's outgrown now. Like maybe your brother or your sister, or even mom, dad, whatever this wounding was, whatever this rejection was, it was something that they wouldn't even think of you now, right? Like it was like a stupid little antagonistic thing your brother and sister might have done, but like now that both of you have grown, it's like your brother and sister would praise you, you know, they would like, they think you're the best version of yourself, and so they wouldn't even think about that silly little insult that they gave you growing up. And I do think it's more sibling based, because we have this like brother-sister combo here. She's whispering something into this little boy who is on a high chair. Next we have the Jack of Clubs, or the Knight of Wands. Then, so this is a fire sign. You could be dealing with an Aries, Leo, or a Sagittarius, or you could be one. But the Knight of Wands is about, it's someone who is very passionate, someone who is sort of turned on, right? They're impulsive. They are sort of hasty. Maybe that was what the wounding was about, right? Maybe someone didn't take you as seriously when you were younger, and so now they kind of see you as more of a leader instead of this like the Knight of Wands is someone who doesn't really complete anything, right? They can't, like, they don't reach the end goal. So they have all these ideas, they have all these like they're turned on by a lot of things, but they don't always commit to them, right? So this wounding, this rejection, this, you know, sort of gossip goblin over here, maybe it was something about not following through, but now it's like they see your good deeds. You could have come from a household that wasn't always happy. I'm also hearing for some of you, like maybe a sibling knows this is for a very small few of you. But maybe a sibling knows that you are cheating, because we have the 10 of Cups and the 3 of Cups here. And so the 10 of Cups is a happy home card, and whenever it's reversed, it's like unhappiness in the home, right? Oh! Why? My camera systems. This is another reason why. Nope, you're slipping. Bae caught me slipping. Bear with me. Sorry. Okay. The 3 of Cups can be a card about cheating. So this might be like a sibling finding out that maybe you were a little bit untrue. You could have found that out as well. For some of you, this could be like a parent cheating situation where you, like, maybe your sibling knew and you didn't, something like that. For others of you, I think there's just a lack of merriment in the household, or there was. But whatever the case is, you are moving away. The 8 of Cups is a card about building up all these emotional memories, all these like good times and bad times, right? And so it's when we reach a place of overwhelmment that we have built up good times and bad, but it's like, this is too much. I cannot take this. It's too intense. So we walk away. Doesn't mean we're walking away forever, but in some cases it could be. So, you know, there may be some sort of discovery that you're leaving a happy family because you're no longer happy anymore. There may be some sort of walking away from, you know, these goblins that were way in the past and you've outgrown them. There's just no real point of them hanging on to them anymore. But I do see good positive movement for you and your family. But this seems like a very immediate family situation. Let me see if I can pick up on anything else. Because the Knight of Wands can mean like a hoe. It can mean like sleeping around. So you might have been criticized in the past for not settling down. But I feel like for those of you who this storyline applies, I feel like you're still not necessarily settling down, but everyone is moving past this whole judgment of it, right? So if you're just dreading going home for the holidays because they like bug you, you know, when am I going to have a grandbaby? When are you going to marry? I think there might be a final point of acceptance where they realize, you know, you are who you are, and true love will happen when it's time. And if you are someone who has some commitment issues, then why would you just settle down with anyone, right? Like, why would you settle and get married if you know like that's not going to bring you fulfillment? If you know that you still have other work to do single, you're just not ready for commitment, right? I think it's important to honor that. And I think if your family can't understand that, they are reaching a place of understanding. And I think they are also realizing that not being ready for that type of commitment it doesn't necessarily mean that you are an unreliable person or that you don't do good deeds, because it says, you know, whoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven. So it's like you're a good person whether or not you are ready to marry or not, right? So it's like, I think they are recognizing all the good deeds you do outside of what their expectations are for you. Interesting. I like it. Let's get on to number 2. Let me know if that resonated, number 1. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Love you very much. We'll see you next time. So number 2, your number flew off. So Jesus says, the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things. So I think this is saying, like our spirit guides, our spirit team, whenever you are experiencing emotional upset, that you're never really alone, and that there are other entities, other beings, whatever you want to call it, if it's, passed on loved ones, if it's angels, if it's the Holy Spirit. But there's something out there that is leading you and comforting you whenever you feel like you don't have anyone else, whenever you have sought all the answers from other people and the advice just isn't in alignment with where you are, right? It's like our loved ones, like they can mean the best. They can have like the best intentions for us and think they're giving good advice, but it's like they might not have experienced what we have experienced on our path to ascension, right? So especially like spiritual, new agey stuff, it can kind of be difficult to describe to the normal 3D person, right? So whenever that happens, make sure you are talking to your spiritual team, and they will teach you all the things you need to know that human people cannot give you, that I can't even give you, right? Because it's your personal journey. So that I can't give you, that psychics can't give you, that your mom, your dad, your love bug, your bae, your children, your friend, whatever it is, no one can give you this knowledge but but a higher power, right? But the spirit. So just make sure you're listening to your spiritual team, and they'll comfort you through any challenges you might have. It can feel really uncomfortable to go through this ascension process. We get sick. We can lash out because we're purging a lot of old wounds, a lot of like ancestral karma and all sorts of stuff. So it can be very scary, and not much is known about it a lot of times. So whenever things get too scary, just know that you do have comfort in your spiritual team. We have follow the leader. So this is funny. It's like your spirit guides are leading you, right? It says follow the leader, we'll teach you. That's so funny. But they're leading you in the right direction, and they are also, I think, calling on you to be a leader in your own life. Like if you are feeling misunderstood from those around you and having trouble like getting advice from them, then you're supposed to lead by example, right? So you are learning new things from your spiritual team. You are learning new things from the other side, from the Holy Spirit, from angels, whatever, ancestors. And from that wisdom, you can be a guiding force within the world, right? You can lead others throughout the world. I'm also noticing this clock up here. It's kind of reminding me of a cuckoo clock. So I think you might like shock others, like just in the right time, right? But like whatever shock you're going to give others, I feel like it's going to be like a wake-up call for them. And your spiritual team might like shock you that way too. Like there might be some sort of alarm or some sort of like ding that you weren't expecting. It's like a cuckoo clock, right? But it's like a funny surprise. It's like a clock flying out, or a bird flying out of clock, right? Okay, so let's continue. We have the 8 of Pentacles reversed. My dog thinks she's really tough. We have a woman who is giving this child poinsettias and roses. So growth. 8 of Pentacles usually means working hard. So because it's reversed, let's see what the other cards have to say. This is the 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands is a finish line card. You're almost at the finish line. I feel like you want to give up on these people. And you're really burdened. Okay. So you are almost there. You have one fight left in you. You almost want to give up because you are feeling overburdened. What I think this is that you have actually grown. You have actually surpassed those around you in your ascension process. And so it can kind of feel like it can feel, you can get a sense of impatience because they're not caught up with you yet, right? Like they're not on your level yet, and you're just like, wake up, people, right? Get on my level. And so I think you're kind of like throwing your hands up in the air because you might feel unchallenged. You might feel like the only one on this path. But just know that you're supposed to step up and take leadership in this situation to complete this finish line, right? And there may be a lot of burdens, but I also want to remind you that if you find yourself in a burdensome situation, to let go of those let go of unnecessary burdens, right? And that's going to carry you to the finish line. We have the Eight of Pentacles reversed again. I cannot make this stuff up, guys. King of Cups reversed and the Death reversed. So yeah, this is, I think you're going through some emotional changes that you can't express right now. You could be dealing with a Scorpio in particular, but also a Cancer or a Pisces. Or you could be a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. But especially Scorpio because we have Death here. But you don't know which direction to go because this is new territory for you. Like you're stepping into a point of ascension that you don't have any, like, yeah, like you don't know the changes. You don't, the changes are kind of unknown. It's still in a process of mystery. Scorpio and Death is all about mystery, right? We don't know what's on the other side. We don't know what's in the afterlife. We speculate. We can have faith in, you know, hellfire and brimstone and heaven in the sky or reincarnation or whatever you believe. But we really don't know as humans, right? Like we don't know for sure what happens. You might even think like worm food, you know. But because you're in a state of uncertainty, you might not be expressing your feelings to others because it's like you don't even know your feelings, right? So again, I would suggest listening to your spiritual team, and it's going to put you in a place where you, when I see the Grim Reaper in Death, it's like I said, we don't know what's in the afterlife. It's this big mystery. So Death is this angel of death who takes you from one stage of your life, so you just died, and he leads you into the underworld to your next phase of life, whatever that is, right? To the next chapter being the afterlife, whether that is a new life reincarnated, whether that is again in heaven, right? So this is about trusting something you can't see, trusting your spiritual team to lead you into a new stage of life. And you're really going to have to not only trust your spiritual team, but trust your feelings, because they're going to help you gauge what direction to go, what path to go, right? Like if something feels weird, don't go down that path, right? So it could look totally good on paper, but if your feelings aren't in alignment with it, that's what you're learning. That's what your spirit guides, that's what your spiritual team is teaching you, is to use your feelings to, like, trust your feelings enough to lead you to where you want to go, right? I love it. Thank you so much. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Again, I love you, I love you, I love you, and let me know if that resonated. Bye. Wonder if we're gonna have enough time. I don't think we are, so I'm gonna turn this off and then we'll get back to number 3. Okay, number 3 is I zoomed in just for you. It's the zoomed in version. Let's pray that it doesn't fall on the table. We want to give you quality readings. Okay, Jesus says, whoops. Jesus says, you are the light of the world. Matthew 5:14. So, we see a mother, father, and child. So this could be speaking of your children and having a little baby that lights the world. This could be speaking of your mother and father and being the light of their world. But I'm also just thinking of Jesus in general and how, you know, we celebrate baby Jesus. It's Christmas, baby Jesus time. Woo woo. And how he brought hope for the world, that there was something better and that we could rise above human suffering. I'm being called to also say, no matter how low you feel, you are always someone's light. Sweet, sweet. Let's see this one. Unexpected visitors. Ooh, maybe someone who is, I'm hearing, this is kind of a sad message. I'm hearing for families who've been estranged, right? If you are a mother who's been estranged from your child for years and years, or if you are a child who's been estranged from your parents for years and years, I feel like there's going to be a reconnection. Maybe some of you have been adopted. Maybe some of you, you know, got into a fight and emancipated yourself. But for whatever reason, I feel like this is families reconnecting, and your family member is going to be your light in the world. And this is parental child reconnection is what I am feeling at the moment. But just know that whoever this unexpected visitor is, they're going to be a light in your world. Or if you are surprising someone, then you are going to light up their world. So, yay. Yay, yay. We all want light. I also want to say, if you are a light worker, then I think you are being called to intervene in some way, step in a situation where you thought, like, it's none of my business, because you're being called to step into your authority as a light worker and sort of like it's bigger than you. I just read an article. I kind of wanted to talk about it on the channel, but I just read an article about narcissistic empaths. And I met people in my life who sort of use the empath label to say stuff like, I can't work in a corporate field because I feel everyone's energy and blah, 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 blah. So they withdraw from themselves because, yeah, we do pick up on a lot of energies, but they kind of use it. The article was about using your empath status to be an asshole. So if you are a light worker, if you do identify as an empath, this is calling you to step out of your cave, right? She's like peeking through a doorway, to step out of your own little isolated world and sort of be the light for someone else, even if they make you feel icky, even if you're uncomfortable with their negative feelings, even if they're a toxic person. Remember, Jesus does remind us to love our enemies, right? So if this message is speaking to you, then I feel like you're gonna have to swallow some pride and swallow some ego and use the gifts that you were put on earth to do to make someone else's life better, and sort of put aside your own reasons why you may withdraw, right? So let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. We have the 5 of clubs. There could be some competition. You might also deal with horses. You might also love horses. We have a horse right here. It says bright and happy Christmas. 2 horses. So there's some competition. Okay. There's the Jack of the Jack of Hearts or the Knight of Cups reversed. Let me read this. I think these are vintage Christmas cards. So let me read what this one says. It says, I have a Christmas wish for you, that with this little card I send, may all your fondest hopes come true, and good cheer bless you till the end. So whenever the Knight of Cups is reversed, this is someone who is in love with love, and they are kind of an emotional whore. So they kind of have backup plans, plan Bs, sort of like waiting in the wings, right? So they're a very romantic person, and this could be you, this could be someone you're dealing with, could be a Cancer, Scorpio, or a Pisces, but this is someone who is very dreamy, very romantic, very sweet and sentimental, but to the point where it's sort of insincere and it lacks depth, right? It lacks depth because they will send flowers to any girl, right? They will call any girl beautiful. And, they will be like really vulnerable and this sweet, sensitive man that we all want. But they sort of, with this 5 of clubs here, this is the 5 of wands, that competition, right? So this might be someone who keeps several options in the background, and it's because they have a little bit of an insecurity about they're insecure about sharing all of themselves with one person, right? About truly opening up and showing that depth to another person, right? Showing them behind this little creek, right? Not being fully present and kind of hiding behind this door, hiding their light to the world, right? So they are insecure that if they show their full selves to someone, that they will, fall in love, and then someone will see them for who they really are and not like them. And so what they do is, instead of investing in one person, instead of showing all of themselves to one person, they will show little pieces of themselves to multiple people, right? So if it doesn't work out with Sally, then, Jim has Susie to fall back on, right? And again, this isn't sleeping with someone. This isn't kissing multiple people. This is emotional affairs. These are emotional divided loyalties. Let's keep it moving. So we have the 3 of Hearts. Definitely, girl. These might even be people you know. The 3 of Hearts or the 3 of Cups is a card about celebration. It's a card about girls just want to have fun, but it can also mean 3-party situation. Interesting, because we have the 3 and the 3. That's not going to speak to all of you, but for those of you who this is resonating with, I would be very careful about who you give your heart to, because they might be giving their heart to a lot of people. But I also want to say, as far as this, you are the light in the world, and this unexpected visitors card. Your light is precious. Your light work is precious. Remember, I was talking about being guarded and isolating yourself, right? So if someone did this to you in the past, don't let their stupidity mess with your light, because your light is important to others, right? And I think your light is also important if this is someone who you are not romantically involved with and you don't have any sort of romantic feelings for. Like if this is a friend, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I have to get it out. If this is a friend who you're just like, oh, why do you like run around on this good guy, or why do you run around on this good girl? Like, stop doing this to people. Then I feel like your light is going, like your ability to be vulnerable, right? To not isolate yourself, to open up yourself and to open up your light and share it with others, is going to lead by example and show them that it is okay for them to be vulnerable and open up to just one person, to take a risk on one person. And it is, and that's how you can truly experience all the love that you want, right? Because this Knight of Cups, this Jack of Hearts, this is someone who is romantic, who wants love, right? They just don't understand what true love really is. They don't understand that you have to be vulnerable, that you have to take risks, that you have to invest. It's about investment. Do you believe that love is found or that love is made, right? So this Jack of Hearts reverse, this is someone who thinks that life is just one big musical chairs, and I either love you at first sight or it's not meant to be, right? But they don't take the time to invest in that daily sort of ups and downs of life that requires a relationship, right? So they can't have that pot at that rainbow, that pot at the end of the rainbow, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, until they show all of their light to one person. Okay, let's keep it moving. We have the moon reverse, so definitely water person. We have the hermit. Sometimes the hermit, for me, it is a Virgo card, but sometimes I see it as a Cancer card, like a hermit crab. And then we have the temperance reverse. Again, it's usually a Sagittarius card, but sometimes I see it as Cancer because it's like baking. So this is strong Cancer energy. But we do have Pisces, Scorpio, we have Sagittarius, and we have Virgo. So, 3 fell down. I feel like you have gone through a period of mystery and maybe even have been depressed for a little while, and maybe that's why you were retreating and hiding your light from the world. You had to go on a journey, right? A soul's mission. And it was very dark and it was very hard to do, but you did have this inner light, right? You were the light in the world. You always had this light with you. Whenever we have the moon is a card about like shining a light on our dark side, right? So you had to see all the dark parts, but that was part of the light, if you're following me with that. So you've been on this soul's journey, and I think you are seeing the dawn breaking, right? You're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, right? It's like, I see a lot of like precipice in this reading. This is like darkness before the dawn, and this is like peeking through a door, right? So you're like almost to where you want to be. I also want to say that with this temperance card reversed, there might be a little bit of impatience because you might have felt like stuck in this hermit energy. The hermit is, yes, he's on a soul's journey. Yes, he's on a spiritual quest, but it is a very solitary card. So you could have been single for a long time, just trying to like work through your shadow self and process pain and all of that sort of stuff. And you might have been in the dark about a lot of things, but you may be reaching a point of impatience with this temperance card, and you might be doing things in excess too, so be mindful of that. It is Christmas time. I have been eating like nobody's business and I need to cool it, but you know how I was saying that this Jack of Hearts, whether this is you or someone external to you, where they think it's like love at first sight or nothing. I feel like this is what this temperance card is responding to, like an all or nothing type of energy, instead of taking it day by day, balancing it out. See, this angel is pouring water from one cup into another cup. So it's like this slow, measured approach instead of this, you know, well, it's not bells and whistles, so bye. Or, again, with this light worker thing of wanting to close yourself off, maybe this Jack of Hearts is sort of talking about if these people that you're around trigger something within you, you know, it does knock off your energy, right? It might make you feel like a little unbalanced, but I think the trick here is to learn how to, that it doesn't have to be an all or nothing type of thing for you either, right? And we're not talking romance, we're just talking about people's energy in general. Like, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to feel icky when other people come into your space and when other people have a different energy than you. It's all about sort of realizing that you have been through dark times too, that you have been through dark nights of the soul, that you have had things that were confusing and that you didn't know about, that you've had to take the time to go in and explore, and as a result you can kind of be like a teacher. Teaching is a big theme to these readings so far, but you can be a teacher to others, to lead by example, and to temper your feelings, temper your emotions, so that like little things don't make you do extreme things, right? That's what I'm feeling. Let me know how that resonated, and I love you very, very much. Number 3s, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Festivus for the rest of us. Was a pleasure. Let's see if we can make it through number 4 without my phone dying. Let's see. Positive thoughts, happy thoughts. So Jesus says, peace be unto you as my Father hath sent me. John 20:21. I like that. We could all use some peace. We also have the Field of Dreams reversed. So the Field of Dreams is a card about planting seeds of manifestation. Right now you may have been planting the wrong seeds. You may have been in a place that was not so peaceful. And so Jesus wants you to know, God wants you to know, the universe, spirit, whatever you want to call it, wants you to know that you are part of that co-creation process, that you can co-design your world. There are some... there's an element of human suffering. There's an element of pain that we all must go through as a way to learn life's lessons, right? To make us better as a spiritual being. But it's very painful here. But there are other things that are our own doing, right? This Field of Dreams is about planting the seeds of manifestation, planting the seeds of intent, planting the seeds of good, positive thoughts, and nurturing those seeds and watching them grow. So you may have been in a long period of unrest, whatever that means to you. Pain, suffering, human suffering, grief, sadness, loss, heartbreak, whatever that is. Loss of money, loss of relationship, just all sorts of things. But I feel like, some of those things were uncontrollable. Maybe they were karmic things you had to tie up in this lifetime. But it came to a point where those things were wiped away. Karmic debts were cleared, but you still had this residual muscle memory of what had happened, that you were telling yourself the same story, and it was keeping you in a state of unrest, in a state of unease. So now we want to sort of weed through our garden. We want to pick out the weeds, the thoughts that do nothing for us, right? Like, why do we tell ourselves that no one will love us? It's a stupid lie. Everyone is lovable. Everyone deserves love. It's just stupid. So weed through those stupid thoughts. You know which ones are stupid and which ones are healthy thoughts. And we want to start planting seeds that help us live a more peaceful life, right? This is also telling me that we want to start living a more peaceful life by not reacting to everyone's bullshit, for lack of a better word. Sorry, Jesus, I had to. Sometimes there are no other words to describe. But, we don't have to respond to every stupid thing that we see on Twitter. I am guilty of this too. I'm guilty of being triggered. I'm guilty of popping off. We don't have to respond to every stupid YouTube comment. We don't have to respond to every time someone does something stupid and destroys our unrest, right? We can maintain a sense of inner peace and be unswayed by whatever stupid thing they're doing, right? They are doing weedy things, right? We're trying to de-weed our garden. We're trying to plant seeds of peace. So why focus on anyone out there who is not planting seeds of peace, right? So just keep in mind, peace, peace, peace. That should be your number one goal, is to just live a peaceful, harmonious life, to live peacefully, to think peacefully. Yeah. So we have the Jack of Pentacles, or I'm sorry, the Jack of Diamonds, or the Knight of Pentacles. It says, a word of love and kindness to make you glad and gay. And here's a hearty greeting for Merry Christmas Day. Cute. Whenever I see this card in this card deck, it reminds me of like your aunt and uncle who are always late to Christmas dinner. But that said, you might have a difficult family member or a difficult set of family members, right? It might not be your immediate family, but like your extended family that you're just like, oh God, why do I have to see these people? But I want to remind you of peace, right? Like maybe their political beliefs don't line up with yours or something, and so you're just like, oh God, I don't want to talk to my racist uncle this Thanksgiving, or not Thanksgiving, this Christmas, right? But you are being called to plant the seeds of peace. So if an argument comes up, you are being called not to respond in a triggered way, not to react in a hateful way, but to try to find a place of peace. And that doesn't mean create peace by not arguing at all. That means try to find a way to make your point where everyone can still live in harmony, right? So let's keep it moving. We have the Three of Pentacles. This is about teamwork, right? This is working together. What did I just say? So whether you get this person on your side, whether you, make this brilliant case, it doesn't matter either way. What matters is that you can reach an agreement with each other. So this has a little like street sign here, and it says health, prosperity, and happiness. And try to keep that in mind too whenever you are, it's like these are the directions you can go, right? You can go to war and hating each other, or you can go to other places, right? So there's not just one way to argue. I also want to say that with health, happiness, and prosperity, you might repeat those while your dumb aunt and uncle are saying whatever they're saying, and just repeat that, and it will like help calm you. It also says, the wintry wind is cold, 'tis true. Still never mind the weather. My wish is, may good luck and you spend every hour together. So this is saying that there are things like, when I see that cold, like the wintry cold, I'm feeling like cold arguments, like right? Like being a cold bitch, or being cold about some sort of political ideology or whatever it is. Just try to keep in the back of your mind that you want peace for all, you want happiness for all, and it's not really about being right. It's about being at ease with everyone. I also want to say the Jack of Diamonds or the Knight of Pentacles, it could speak about a workplace situation. So the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the deck, but he always reaches his destination because the Pentacles suit is about the material world, and so this is about investing consistently and making sure your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed, and doing things the right way instead of the fast way, right? So you might have a long drawn out argument with these family members. And the faster way is just to call them idiots, right? But again, that doesn't bring you peace. It's slower to drive your points home to them and to really let it sink in, to come from a place of compassion, to come from a place of reason and calm and peace. It's slower that way, but you will achieve what you set out to do, which is to plant the seeds of an ideal world. This is field of dreams. Like, we get into arguments about political ideology because we all have ideas in our head about what a perfect world would be, right? And their vision of what a perfect world would be might be different than yours, or they might be the same, but you two just have different ways of getting to that, or different solutions of how you think that could be achieved. So I really encourage, like, seeing things from their perspective and trying to reach compromises, work together with this 3 of diamonds or the 3 of pentacles. We also have the 7 of cups. So the 7 of cups here, I'm thinking like there are so many options. There are so many things to choose from. There's like so many beliefs you can have that there's no one right way to get to an answer. Again, we might want the same end goal but have different ways of going about it, right? So I think this is also saying to offer up solutions and not just talking points, right? Solutions like get to like root causes of the problem. And again, well, I don't know. Again, I don't know if I said this before, but it doesn't have to be like political ideologies. It could be like how you're living your life. You should start a family. I want to go about it this way. But it could be disagreements on any sort of scale. We can disagree about lots of things, right? lots of things that we don't agree on. Sorry, y'all. Stay. Okay, let's get to this. Are you gonna... Dang. Sorry. Thank you for your patience. Technical difficulties. Okay. So, we have strength reverse. So this is about lashing out. We see a woman. She is petting a lion. And lions are scary, right? They're kings of the jungle. They can pounce and attack us at any moment. But she is, in a loving way, petting him, being very gentle with him, and he's calm and he doesn't bite her. Whenever it's reversed, this is not, we haven't tamed our inner beast. We aren't working with others from a standpoint of compassion. When we have compassion with others, then they can be more easily tamed, right? This is the 6 of Cups. So there could be some bad memories surrounding whatever this is. Especially it could be your childhood, because a lot of these Christmas readings, we are dealing with family. So lots of questions about the family. This could be, you might have these seeds of either unrest or peace as a result of bad memories, right? You might take this standpoint that, like, you may have had totally different experiences than this person right here, or this couple, or whatever it is. You could also, I forgot to mention, we have a Leo right here. The Jack of Diamonds is a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. But, they may have grown up great. Norman Rockwell, baby boomer, not a care in the world, great life, got all they wanted. But you may have had a different path to where you didn't get all the opportunities they did, and so that might be the disagreement. We also have the Page of Swords. Yeah, I think you're working through some inner child stuff. The Page of Swords is a card about feeling abandoned, neglected, a little orphan child. We see right here, there's columns here, and there's one that's fallen to the ground. So it's like, being left out of something. It's like there was so much intention put into these columns, and there was a disregard for this column, right? So this is someone who feels disregarded. The Page of Swords is also a card about not so nice words. Not so nice words, gossip, trying to get like the last word, right? Trying to be the little sass mouth. It's a smart ass kid. So this could be your inner child, or this could be how you're behaving, or how this person is behaving right now. But just remember, the Page of Swords feels abandoned, neglected. It could be memories from your past. But sorry about that, number 4. So as we progress from the Page of Swords to the King of Swords, the Page of Swords feels abandoned, neglected, misunderstood, interrupted, poo-pooed, like, kid, you don't know what you're talking about. So that could definitely be a fight with family members, right? But we progress from the Page of Swords. He feels abandoned, neglected, poo-pooed, interrupted, and we get to the Knight of Swords, who says, you know what? Fuck y'all guys. So the Knight of Swords, his lesson is that he needs to hold people accountable by speaking from the heart, and not by saying, fuck all y'all should be ashamed of yourself. And then we move to the Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Swords, she has spoken with her heart, right? She has stopped blaming others and has really had clear communication, but people walked all over her anyway, and so she's the divorcee, the widower. She's been lied to, cheated on, died on. She'd been it all, seen it all, honey. She knows a thing or two about a thing or two, and she's very sassy. And then we get to the King of Swords, and the King of Swords has been through all the motions of the Page, the Knight, and the Queen. But the King of Swords, he sets boundaries, he sets rules, he sets the law of the land so that no trespass can be made, right? So if you get into an argument with your loved ones, keep in mind that you have the ability to set some boundaries, set some guidelines this time, to say, you know what, we can disagree, but let's not disagree this way, right? Let's not hurt each other. Let's not cut each other down. Let's be respectful of each other's opinions. I also want to say, with this couple, with the Jack of Diamonds, with the traditionally the Knight of Pentacles, I saw it as this couple, the extended family, who's like always late to Christmas dinner, right? And so they may be late, quote unquote, to your point of view, right? If you have this sort of ideal in your heart, if you are working to cultivate peace, if you have disagreements, and it doesn't have to be a political argument, it could just be how, like, different viewpoints on how to go through life, that they are a little slow on, right? They're a little behind the times on, then I think what Spirit is calling on you to do in this case is to not take it personally, not to think about sort of bad memories in the past, not to let that history trigger you, and to see it more as like, oh gosh, they are really like slow to this. I need to have more patience with them so that they can catch up to my wokeness, right? And also keep in mind that, as you know, it may take longer to explain your point of view, but you are this is Field of Dreams, right? This is about seeds. So you are planting seeds, and it's all about nurturing those seeds. So you have to nurture them in a loving way, and not in a like, screw you guys, you so stupid, you so behind on the times, you don't even know, right? So just be mindful of all of that. And try not to, like, you know, this is lashing out, our inner beast lashing out. This is bad memories, and this is sort of a passive-aggressive attitude. So make sure whatever your responses are measured. You might want to count to 3 before you react, because again, it's not about having the last word. It's not about who's the most woke. It's about getting to a place where everyone can be at peace and where you are motivated to make the changes that are needed, and like actual changes. And could be any sort of disagreements, right? Whenever we see our family, we argue about a lot of different things. But anyway, I love you very much. Number 4s, like, share, comment, and subscribe. If I didn't tell you, I forgot to tell you in the intro, you can win this Morgan-GREER Tarot in a 10 deck of cards. All you have to do is subscribe with the hashtag Morgan-GREER. You'll be entered for a chance to win. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, Festivus for the rest of us, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. It's a joyful time for everyone. Okay, number 5s. Number 5s. Get out of there. We have, all things whatsoever you shall ask in prayer, believing you shall receive. Matthew 21:20. So this is about the things we ask for in our prayers, sort of like how we pray, right? So if you are not a prayer individual, and yes, I know that prayers and the law of attraction are similar and different in many ways. I will not get into all of it, but intention is really important for both of those two things. So if we are in a state of grief, it's almost impossible to manifest what we want into our lives, because our vibration is not in alignment with what our desires are. So when we pray, we have to believe that those things will come to us. Right? Nana, honey, be quiet. See how she just doesn't listen to me? Ghostlands is a card about being stuck in the past and worrying about the future and not being fully present. So you may be like wanting something. Something might be on your mind. You might be praying for it, and it's hard for you to get in a state of belief because in the past your prayers weren't answered, or like the things you wanted weren't granted to you. And so it makes it hard to believe that they'll be there for you in the future. So what I would encourage you to do is to sort of look through it through the eyes of a child, right? We have this little girl here. She's carrying, is it a teddy bear? Some sort of doll or something. And Jesus is guiding her along the way. And if you think about children, like, they are totally not as jaded as we are, right? Like, they can live in the moment, like, faux show. And they don't use the past as anything that will stop them from making choices in the future. And, like, they don't even really look at the future like it's this far distant thing, right? If they are playing with their baby dolls, then in that moment, they are a mom to a baby, right? If they are playing cops and robbers, in that moment, they are a cop or they are a robber. You see what I'm saying? So this is about being totally connected with what is around you at this very moment. I want you to take a moment right now, and I want you to count on your hand 5 things in your immediate environment that you are grateful for. I'm going to do it right now. This Christmas tree is beautiful right here. My dogs are angels sent from heaven. I have a fireplace that's crackling and bringing me warmth. I'm very grateful to read tarot with you, and I love these cards and the messages that they give me. One more thing. I'm looking out at my view. It's beautiful. I have a beautiful view. I'm very blessed. So 5 things in your immediate environment that are right here, right now. Take a minute and list those things. And be grateful for those things. I just said 5. There's 5 of cups right here, or 5 of hearts. Interesting. Did you list your 5 things? I think for a lot of you, this is going to be a disconnect in love relationships, in romantic relationships. Maybe you have just broken up with someone, got divorced, and it's a decision that one of the parties made abruptly. It feels like abrupt. And I don't even feel like with this 5 of cups reversed or with the 5 of hearts reversed, it's like whatever loss you may be feeling, it's kind of like it feels like a false loss. It feels like maybe it happened so quickly. Your response to it is like your usual response to when this sort of thing happens, but it's like it's not the same, if that makes any sense. Like, it's like on a higher level, on a spiritual level, it's like you know it's for the better, but you are responding on a 3D level in ways that you always respond because maybe it feels like this is a repeated pattern, but it's like it's just one game of cop and robber. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one experience out of your life, and you'll go on to play different games, right? Like, you don't like color the same coloring page. I know I'm talking a lot about children, but that child is like, I'm really drawn to that child. So you don't like color one page out of a coloring book and then you're done coloring for the rest of your life, right? You color all different sorts of pages and have all these different types of experiences, and no experience is like the other. So this Ghostlands card, it's like living in the past, worrying about the future. You are living in the past thinking every situation has been the same when really there has been like little things different about it, and worrying about the future that is a huge mystery, and you're going to have all these sorts of surprises, all these sorts of wonder and excitement and new discoveries in the future that you don't even know about yet, right? So all you can do is focus on the now and sort of like treat it as, don't treat this the same as you've treated everything else. That's all I can say. I don't know who I'm speaking to, what I'm even really speaking about. These are just the messages that are coming through. And I hope that you guys understand what I'm talking about, because I can, because it's kind of confusing to me. But yeah, this is my vessel and I'm speaking through it. We have the Wheel of Fortune right here. So yeah, having the Wheel of Fortune under this 5 of Hearts, under this 5 of Cups, is kind of what I've been talking about. Like, it's not, I don't mean to like minimize your pain. I'm just like, it feels like it's not as painful. Like, this feels kind of like melodrama that you might be having. But like, good things are in the future. There's going to be surprises and twists and turns and good luck in the future. And it's like on an intuitive level, you know, like this was for the best, this is for your highest good. And there are lots of, like, plenty of fish in the sea or lots of other opportunities around the corner. But for some reason, it's like you're reacting in maybe like a muscle memory way, a residual way that you have reacted before. And I think you are waiting for something better to come into your life, but it's going to require being in that state of the innocence of a child, and like I said, just believing like in the moment. And I'm trying to like, let me try to think of something that like adults like to do. Okay, adults like to go out drinking, right? If you go out drinking and you are thinking about how your ex done you wrong, then you're not going to laugh when someone sings a silly karaoke song, right? So it's, like I said, about being in the moment, whatever moment it is, and looking at that moment through the eyes of wonder, through the eyes of a child, through the eyes of never having experienced it, because you haven't experienced this moment. I haven't experienced this moment. Like I said, I don't know specifically what this reading is, but I'm just saying it. So it's like, I haven't pre-planned this moment. This moment is different. This reading is different from other readings that I've done. So, like, I am fully engaged in this present moment, in this moment right now. I think that is where you need to turn your focus instead of waiting for something to present itself, like just knowing it's already here, right? We also have the Three of Swords right here. The Three of Swords is a card about healing. So you are in a process of healing, but like I said, just make sure that through your healing process, you're not repeating these same patterns that kind of keep you stuck in. The Ghostlands is like a limbo card. You're sort of like frozen in time, right? You don't want to be frozen in time, and you don't want the same experiences that you've had before. And the only way to ensure that you can escape experiences that you have had before is to not go over them like a crazy person over and over in your head. I've done it before too, so I totally understand. It's something I struggle with. I'm not harping on you. I'm not saying you're like lesser, because I struggle with it too. But the best way to feel better, again, is to live in the moment and to believe that it's possible to have a different experience in the future. I hope that resonated. I love you very much. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Festivus for the rest of us, whatever you celebrate. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to win this Morgan-GREER Tarot 1 to 10, you can subscribe and leave a comment with hashtag Morgan-GREER. Be entered in a chance to win that beautiful deck. On to, last but not least, number 6. What does Jesus have to say? Jesus says, "Your faith hath saved you. Go in peace." I like it. We also have it with the Gentle Gardener. This was not number 5. It was similar to number 4. So you might click on number 4. But number 4 was all about planting seeds. The Gentle Gardener is about planting seeds too. Theirs was Field of Dreams, but it's a similar message. It's about manifestation, right? The seeds you plant, what you nurture, the thoughts you feed, right? If you feed positive thoughts, then your reality will have more positivity around it. If you feed negative thoughts, then your environment will have some crappy things in it. And it also had a message of peace. So make sure you're planting the seeds of peace, right? Make sure you're planting peaceful thoughts. But let's see if it's the exact same message as number 4, or if you guys have something different. We have the 9 of Hearts, or the 9 of Cups. And this says, "Christmas greetings with love." But the 9 of Cups, or the 9 of Hearts, is a card about wish fulfillment, but it's also a card, and this was a little bit of number 5's message. To me, the 9 of Cups is a card about living in the present and sort of like radiating on a vibration of gratitude, like fat and happy. This food is good. This wine is good. And as you are happy about your present moment, then that enables the universe to sort of accelerate your manifestations. So it is a card about peace, right? It is a card about if you're fat and happy, if you're peaceful in the moment, then you are at peace, right? We have the 10 of Swords reversed. The 10 of Swords is a card about backstabbing, betrayal. It's being through the ringer, right? It's like shit after shit happens and people disappoint you. But the thing about the 10 of Swords is the worst is over. And it's also about getting numb to, like, people are going to disappoint us, right? And so it's about accepting that you can't change anyone else. You can't change your past experiences. But the great thing about the 10 of Swords, Swords is a card about, your mental faculties, your thoughts, your ideas, how you think, how you process, how you communicate. And whenever we have reached the end of something, a 10, a completion, that means that you have taken all of your experiences, all the bad ones, all the shitty times that you've had, and you can learn from them. You are wise from them now. So I feel like you could not have reached a state of peace, or you will not be able to reach a state of peace without going through some sort of hard times. Your trials and tribs put you directly in a position to have this peace. Because if you did not go through all of those challenges, then you could not fully appreciate the peace that followed it. You see what I'm saying? I like it. I like it. We have the King of Wands. The King of Wands is a card about leadership, taking charge. So I love this for you, number 6. Let me know if this resonates, but the King of Wands, you could be an Aries, Leo, or a Sagittarius, or this could be someone in your life, but the King of Wands is someone who takes control, who's in charge, who's a leader, he motivates, he inspires. So you have all this wisdom, right? You have all this wisdom, and you have this leadership, so you can be the bringer of peace, but it's not that you are some like silly, stupid optimist who just believes, or, you know, who has never had a bad experience, who has never been hurt, or has never experienced the pain of others. It's that you have, right? And so you can motivate and inspire people by saying, look, I have been through that and I have made it through it, and you're going to too, right? So this is being an inspiration, being a role model for others. And with this Gentle Gardener card, I talked about weeding out your garden in the other video that related to this. And so I feel like part of your leadership, part of your inspiration, your motivational message to others is that all of that pain and grief and suffering that you did in the past, you only made it through as a result of weeding out all of the things that didn't serve you, all of the things that do not belong in your garden, right? And because you did that, and because you took charge of your own life, and because you really held yourself accountable, and, you know, some of these weeds I'm hearing weren't easy to weed out. You know, sometimes, like, when I started, I still drink, but I don't do it. I drink a lot back in the day, right? And so whenever I was deciding, I went through like a sobriety for like a year, and it was hard to keep some of the friendships that I had throughout those bar experiences, because, you know, you realize like some people only want that party side of you, right? And so it was hard saying goodbye to those people. It was hard weeding those people out, because I did have fun with those people and I did like them in my life and they were a value in my life. But ultimately they were weeds in my life path. I'm not saying like, you know, they're no good people and they don't deserve anything. It was just like on my particular journey, they weren't serving me at the time. So it was hard to say goodbye to them. So you might have been in a place where you have had to let people go, where you have had to cut people off, where you have had to leave like jobs, situations, whatever, to sort of save yourself, right? To give yourself this peace. So it wasn't easy for you. But having gone through that, you can really inspire others to. Okay, sorry, number sixes. So like I was saying, like, you're not one of those, like, privileged, born with a silver spoon types. I mean, you could be, but that's not to say that you didn't experience some hardship, right? Like, you're not one of those people who was born on third base and thought he hit a home run, right? Like, you are in a position of leadership because you have made it through those hard times, right? It's like going through those failures, going through all of this hardship, all of this betrayal, all of these backstabbings, put you in a position to be the authority over how to get out of that, right? Like, your failures made your successes even greater. And you would not have those successes if you did not go through those failures. I also want to say, if you are a parent, especially if you have divorced and your child is going through a rough time, I see Jesus with this child. So if the divorce was messy, or if your child had a rough time throughout the divorce, then that sense of leadership can bring that child out of that situation, right? So you can be that leader by just reminding them that life's experiences, even the yucky ones, they make us better people. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And although they might not see it right now, that those hardships and those rough times will make them a better person, and will shape them into the person that they'll shape them into better people. What am I saying? We have the Lovers here. You could be dealing with Gemini. We also have the Nine of Swords reversed, and we have the Queen of Swords reversed, especially a Gemini, because we have the Queen of Swords reversed right here, and the Lovers. This King of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So these signs could be you, or they could be someone you're dealing with, but they could also not be you. But the Nine of Swords in this reading, it's like you have, all by yourself, all through your leadership capabilities, your determination to be in command over this situation, like, you did that all by yourself. You worked through all of your anxieties, your fears, your doubts. It's like you are, I hate whenever, like, law of attraction people, or like positive new agey people are just like almost too happy, and they kind of like gloss over the yucky feelings, right? And so it's like you are able to be in this state of positivity because you have been at rock bottom, you have been through challenging times, and you have bounced back, right? So again, that's like your failures have made you more successful. You have overcome this. You have, like, you are the victor over your thoughts. And so I feel like you are leading by example in showing that you can weed out these thoughts, right? This gentle gardener. You can have this peace within you. You also might be dealing with a love partnership. This could be, a romantic situation. And this is about, perhaps you were disconnected from a partner, you were in separation, and it really caused you a lot of pain. It could have been a tumultuous relationship. But after being with yourself and really taking ownership of all of your baggage, I feel like you have come to a place where you are able to love again. The Queen of Swords, she can kind of be seen as cold and bitchy and mean. Whenever she's reversed, sometimes it's like speaking from a place, like speaking from a heart place. And this is also about setting boundaries, right? It's like, I love you, but you can't do X, Y, and Z. And you wouldn't have set up those boundaries again if you didn't go through all this bullshit, right? This bullshit was put in place to teach you what you deserve and what you won't tolerate, right? So this bullshit taught you where to draw a line in the sand, and instead of this situation controlling you, you stayed on top of this situation, and it brings you closer to a greater love, to divine love, to divine partnership. I talked a lot about just personal hardships and children and divorce and all of that, but there is a strong sense of romance and love right here that can't really be ignored. So I think those dealing with twin flame relationships, I didn't have this in other readings, but I think if you are dealing with a twin flame relationship, this is about being in separation and using that separation as a time to sort through your baggage, because you know that this is a deeper connection than the rest, and so you want to be the best for your counterpart. So maybe separating was a shock to your system, maybe it felt like a betrayal, maybe you got a lot of doubt and anxiety from it, but that separation was a way for both of you guys to really get right for each other, right? To really like sort through old baggage, like family baggage, ancestral baggage, past life baggage, exes. Again, we have this divorce thing right here. Karmic relationship baggage, all the baggage you needed to sort through. This sort of waiting period was and I feel like this is for divine masculines, more for divine feminines, but if you are divine feminine and this resonates with you, then let me know. We do have the Queen of Swords right here, so this is about a woman who has been hurt before and is now ready to love again, right? But all of those hardships put you in a spot to be better than you were before, which is amazing. So that's all I have for you, number 6s. Let me know if it resonated, and I love you very, very much, and I will see you next time. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, Festivus for the rest of us, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.